Welcome back, Canonites. Earlier this week, Xbox released a couple awesome videos for Halo 5 and we're gonna break them down. Warning, potential spoilers ahead, so continue at your own risk. Our first is dubbed the Halo 5 Cinema First Look. For those not in the know, this was originally shown in theaters, hence the name, and leaked online, I think a week or two ago. So let's take a look at all the new footage and see what we can see. As with the Vidoc from a while back, I've organized the footage into sections based on what looks to go together. We start out with a Pelican landing in the Infinity Landing Bay, my guess right after capturing Dr. Halsey, which seems to be vindicated by the very next scene. After that we have Buck and Locke, Buck talking about something. Maybe this is when Osiris is informed of their job to hunt down Blue Team? We then have Lasky speaking with an SOS Sangheili, followed by him looking pretty distraught. Did he receive an unfavorable order or disappointing news, or did he have to lie to someone? Might he have just sent Osiris to Sanghelios, or more specifically, Sunayon? It could be anything, really. Moving forward, we get some scenes showing off Osiris. My guess would be right before Sunayon, though the fact that the segment ended with them actually being deployed to Sunayon certainly influenced that deduction. And while there is plenty of recycled footage from the Sunayon demo, this here is very new. Osiris, clearly still in Sunayon, looking at an activated Guardian. The next scene is a little hard to place, but given the ocean-esque background, it seems to suggest that this is again Sunayon and we have Locke dropping over a burning Guardian. Maybe he sees an opportunity to catch Blue Team and dives hoping to confront the legendary Spartan team. Vale follows him shortly after. It could be too that the scenes of Locke hanging and the scene of him dropping are from two different parts of the game. Speaking of dropping, here's Locke ripping off one of the Chief's moves from Halo 4. I kid, he's actually ripping off Agent Carolina. But in all seriousness, the visual parallel is actually pretty cool, and given the blue sky and the presence of a Guardian, I can't help but wonder if this might be that same location we saw Blue Team in during the last Vidoc. Speaking of Blue Team, they're definitely present in this Vidoc. The first scene looks, to me, like it might be from a section of the level Blue Team itself, and the background, though blurred, looks to be pretty human/UNSC. The next scene I found particularly interesting. While nothing of note stands out at first glance, if you look, you can see what appears to be an SOS Sangheili dead in the background. Now naturally it could be a Storm Sangheili with reddish armor, but the red looks way more like the SOS armor. To me at least. But regardless, if that is an SOS Sangheili, what killed him? Blue Team? Or something else? Next, we see the Spartans on a lush world with Forerunner architecture, perhaps again the same planet where Locke was practicing his skydiving. Finally, for now at least, we see Blue Team inside a Forerunner construct, the inside of a Guardian perhaps. We then get a scene with the Arbiter probably giving an awesome speech. This most likely takes place after the events of the gameplay we're going to be going over in a bit. The next scene is one we've seen, but slightly extended. Buck holding up a pistol. While the pistol design certainly turned heads, it was the action of Buck seeming to draw it on someone. With this extended scene, it looks more like he's just picking it up off a table, like he's inspecting it. For our final scenes, we have Osiris searching through what looks to be a location very similar in design at least to the Didac ship from Halo 4. In the background of this first scene, if you look, there's an object that, to me, looks very similar to the hologram from the Halo 3 level Epitaph. That hologram has always been theorized to represent mendicant bias. Now how amazing would it be if that turned out to be true, and this is indeed that same design. After more looking around and Buck spotting something, Osiris is attacked, and if you pause at the right moment, you can see the attacker looks to be the Warden Eternal. We then see Buck hanging off the side of an aircraft, and finally a lone Locke confronting Blue Team. Even if by some miracle Locke were a capable match for the Master Chief, he would not stand a chance against all of Blue Team. Now interestingly, in the leaked version, which I can't show due to copyright issues, there was a scene of John and Locke fighting. Well, John headbutting Locke, but you get my point. We see the Chief slowly standing as if he just took a hit, and finally a brief glimpse of the Chief with a cracked visor. So the question is, what caused the crack? Did Locke perhaps get a solid blow in? Did the Chief crack it after too many headbutts? Perhaps the Warden Eternal is responsible, or could it be the Didact himself? And I lied, that wasn't our final scene. The final scene is of this. I don't know what it is, but it's interesting. Two thoughts came to mind. One, perhaps it's something connected to the Guardians, like a central hub. Two, perhaps this place is somehow connected to the domain. I couldn't say how, but the possibility alone excites me. And that does it for this Vidoc. Next up is gameplay from the level Swords of Sanghelios. From what I can gather, the basic premise is that the Arbiter is being targeted for assassination by Jules Covenant, and Osiris is lending a hand, hoping for help reaching the Guardian in Sunayon. We start out as the Swords of Sanghelios deploy Osiris to Sanghelios, and a few things stand out. First, the Lich and Phantom. Both have a deep reddish hue. I don't know why I didn't notice this until now, but it's very apparent here. Also, probably our best look at Sanghelios yet. A little more blue compared to past depictions, but it's a change I'm not exactly against. I imagine Sangheli need to drink water too. As Osiris is deployed, we get our first solid date, October 27th, 2558. 343, you clever bastards. I wish I'd made bigger noise about it, but I've been suspecting for a while that October 27th might be a date we would see in Halo 5. Anyway, Osiris deploys from the Phantom, and as they do, we hear...
Arbiter has united the Keeps and formed a new alliance, the Swords of Sanghelios.
So, a few things. First, yeah, that would appear to be a female Sangheli speaking for the first time. Now, if I'm to be honest, I feel 343 could have tried a little more to make it sound alien, but that's assuming it's a female Sangheli. Also, going off that assumption, many people have theorized, or more accurately jumped to the conclusion, that this female Sangheli may be the same one we see on the cover of Shadow of Intent. There's nothing to back that up, mind you, but it'd be interesting if that were the case. Or hell, if she were in the game at all. Also of interest are her words. The Arbiter has united the Keeps. Seems he's come a long way since 2553, as one would expect. But more interesting is what this implies, that for the most part, Sanghelio itself is united under the Arbiter, even if the species as a whole isn't quite there. The video mostly shows off gameplay, and I gotta say, I'm loving what I'm seeing. Moreover, I love hearing the Covenant speak English. The Jackals were a big worry for me, as I've always had trouble imagining them speaking English given how they sound in the games. However, I think 343 nailed it. As we move on, we hear the Covenant, mostly grunts, acting like the Arbiter is already dead and the war is won. Luckily, that's not the case. Later on, as we come to a new section, Vale remarks,
"These are pre-Covenant Sangheli ruins. They were already ancient history before humanity built the pyramids."
Before we join another battle, to which Buck says,
"Act casual. Maybe they won't notice us."
God, classic Nathan Fillion, am I right? Anyway, the gameplay comes to an end as Locke spots a building under attack, Vale informing us that it's called the Elder Council Chamber, and a Sangheli named Maki Chava said that it's where the Arbiter is located. And that's pretty much it, though before we go I have to talk about Maki Chava. This gameplay isn't the first time we've seen that name come up. Much to my disappointment, I failed to mention him during the breakdown of the last Vidoc, where his name appears on Locke's HUD. Besides apparently being a semi-important character, really look at that clan name, Chava. During the time of the Covenant, that might have been Chavami, as in Val Chavami? While it's strange to think that Val's family would have been allowed to live given the Sangheli's blatant heresy, the idea of meeting his descendants has me even more excited for this game, as if that were even possible. But anyway, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, this has been Halo Canon. Hey guys, thanks